Hello, everybody. This is the Capeless Crusaders, or at least part of us. My name is Manderson, at Son of Mander on Twitter and Instagram. Joining me tonight for our special bonus show this week is on the other side of the city. Yeah, that's probably right. That's you.
Pretty much.
Kind of.
Oh,
Well, I
sorry.
mean,
This is
I'm like in
Amy.
Camera
You can
Park,
find
so
me at IJ Yeah, yeah. I'm a little north of that. So this is Amy. You can find me at IJ Robot on all of my social media and some other stuff, I guess. I'm going to apologize in advance for any choppy and or disorienting conversation you get. So when it's staggered, it's going to be fun, so much more fun for me on playback. I can't wait.
yeah, this is a little different than our normal. We're normally in the same room, right next to each other, and today we're in our own homes using technology to talk to each other. Before we dive in, just a quick shout out to our sponsors, Computer Booter, Empire's Comics, and our newest, the Beard Balm Brush. Uh, they just started sponsoring us, and if you go to beardbalmbrush.com, put in the promo code CAPELESS, all lowercase, you can get 15% off of your order, which is phenomenal. Tonight, Amy and I are going to be talking about and reviewing Incredibles 2 because we're the only Crusaders who've seen it thus far. I don't think it's because they don't want to see
That's,
it. It's
yes.
they just haven't gotten there yet. So um, let's start with just some raw numbers because I like numbers and graphs and things, and I didn't put together a cool graph, and now I'm regretting that. But Incredibles opened 14 years ago. Their opening weekend was 7.5 million. Incredibles 2 was 182.7 million, which is that's a pretty huge jump. And the total for the entire run of Incredibles was 261.4 million. Is that your dog?
Sorry, I'm
That's
really
fine.
excited about these numbers.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
numbers are awesome. So 261.4 for Incredibles, and so far we're not even really a week into Incredibles 2. It's 233.4 million. That's all domestic. Um, there's no
Mhm.
international stuff factored into that, so that's just all U.S., which is kind of cool. So doing really well so far. It seems like.
Yes.
So my the theater I went to a
Yes,
Tuesday.
baby. I mean, go for it.
Oh, so the theater on Tuesday when I went was like packed full. People were, yeah. So, all you. Did you lose me?
No, well, maybe. I don't know. I found you now. But yeah, for Tuesday, I went on Thursday night. The theater prior had showings have been sold out. And it seems to be carrying, it was very well balanced. The bottom half of the theater was young families, and the top half was teenagers, and then my age. And we won't divulge my age because the lady never does. Um, but it seems it's long overdue, and it was worth the wait, I think.
Definitely, yeah. Did my showing they had like some of the voice actors like thanking us for waiting 14 years for it, which I thought was kind of cute and a little fun. Did they do that in your showings too?
Yes, yes, yes. And they're like, we get it, we know it's late. And we're like, yay, thank you. It's awesome.
Yeah, we were. I thought that was nice. My son was very confused. He's like, "When's the movie starting?" They said it was starting 30 minutes ago, and it's been 30 minutes of previews. But once we got there, he was like dialed in and really into it.
Yeah, the previews seem to always kind of take up a good chunk of space.
Yeah, they get longer every year. It seems like the more and more previews or longer previews. Anyway, what did you like compared to the original one? How did you feel about this one? What'd you think?
Well, just overarching, this was not as groundbreaking as the first one. I felt that it was a good follow up, but the original left us in such a great space as a comic book reader I couldn't um, I couldn't forget. Like there wasn't a lot of callback to the first one. There was a lot of kind of you could have gone in to the second one and not seen the first one, which was really nice. Um, but it added knowing the original outright. I I felt it was good, but again, I was now I'm trying to do math. Lord help me. Um, shoot, how old was I?
Well, if you tell us how old you were then we can do
16,
math and figure it
17,
out.
something?
Oh, you're really
I
young.
know, but my fingers, fingers and numbers. No, um, I can't do it. So, I was a teenager when it came out, and it was quite a different perspective to see it now as a grown adult and as a parent as well. So, a lot of the things that I had expected to come up in watching this, they did. It changed my perspective on the first one as well, which is really nice to see.
Yeah. You took your girls to see it?
I did, and
They
they both survived,
they liked it
and
a
I
lot.
survived as well.
Good.
Also, we should probably mention if is active that we can't see them. I can't see Jack.
I can. There's a couple. Luke Bill's in there. Hey, Luke Bill. And somebody else said something before, and then the
Thank you for
page.
being my. I'm running mobile, and that's it.
Yeah, I compared to the original, I agree. There wasn't like a whole lot of stuff that's like, oh, that's really new and kind of a different spin on the superhero comic book thing. I think they kind of continued a lot of the same feel of the original one, where it's they're more like part of the citizen. Oh, hey, Ruru. Um, there's part of the citizens, and they're trying to get back into being superheroes, and they want to help, but uh, a large group of people don't want them to help because they just seem to get in the way. And they kicked that off really strong at in the beginning with um, the Underminer, which I really like that they
The Underminer.
continued that, and they picked up right, like literally right where they left off, and then even those
Mm-hmm.
scenes impacted other parts of the movie, which I thought was great. Um, for me, this one hit more of like it plugged my heartstrings a little bit more. Like there were more times where I felt the emotional impact of certain things. Um, I think when the first one came out, I was uh, I was 21. I didn't have kids, so I didn't have a heart at that point. Um, and now it hits like when I watch the original one now, it impacts me more now than it did back then. But this one even more so. Like some of the father-daughter scenes and stuff were kind of like, oh, that's going to be me in about 13 years, and I'm so not ready for that. Um, so, and
You're a little early.
that leads me to some of my favorite scenes were actually um, the parenting scenes where
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Incredible, I can't remember his normal name right now. Parr is the last name.
Bob.
Bob Parr, right? Where he's like trying to
Bob.
single parent, and like one day he's like nailed it, got the kids off to school, figured out the crazy math, and like taught his kid, and they all cut up, and he's like, I got this. And then you go like 2 or 3 days and like in the future, and he hasn't shaven, and he just looks freaking exhausted, and
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing at that because there's while that's never been me, and I don't have a kid who has 17 superpowers, so I don't have that. Um, and Ruru wants to know if we have to wait another 10 plus years for part three. Hopefully not. I would love a three sooner.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. But like there's been times where my wife has gone out of town. I'm like, my wife normally does these things. I know how to do it because I'm a parent, but I don't know if I'm going to do it right. So I really like those kind of things, and so like more not even like the superhero stuff, more the family stuff was really my favorite parts. What about you?
I can totally agree with the single parenting. Even as a mom, I've been there. I've done that. Like, you have your day where you're like, yeah, I got everything squared. You did all the laundry, you did all the dishes, the house is clean. And then I think it was really telling when they finally put him on the couch and you look and there's a basket of laundry just hanging out. And it's got the socks out and the shirts. And I was like, I've been there. And then I'm not gonna lie, that day I have I have one child that is very um, dramatic and used to stay up late at night, and I didn't let her watch robber movies, but I'm not gonna lie, that dang raccoon, and I say raccoon, I know I'm gonna hear it from chat instead of raccoon, but the bandit sequence with Jack, everybody was cracking up, and it was such a great um, like it defines who I am. Like when Dash is early in the movie, it defines who I am. Where'd you hear that? I don't know. Some guy said it. It was very along that line of, we're part of a family of superheroes, and I'm a toddler, but I'm supposed to save people, and this trash panda is taking my trash. Therefore, I must avenge my house, like protect my household,
Yeah.
which led into the great discovery for Bob that his son, the one that they thought was normal, is way more unexpected than anybody else and more spectacular. And
Yeah.
then in tying that into the Edna mode and
Yeah.
Jack,
I
like
don't babysit.
that
Okay,
entire
leave. I'll take
sequence.
care of this. Yeah, that was
I
great.
know. And then when he comes back, the way that Jack is walking with the
Yeah.
lollipop. Oh, it was so well done, and it was such a great, um, just a great like it built upon itself. Like there was such comedy and trying to bring levity to the subject of um, a family not being torn apart, but a family being stretched in a different dynamic and in a different way,
Yeah.
and you really got like spaces where the story breathes, which I think might have created a little bit of tension and drag in places that wasn't necessary, but it felt good, like it felt like a good romp.
Yeah, definitely. I think you kind of touched
Does
on
that make
things that maybe we hate. That certain parts dragged a little bit. There were certain areas where I felt like let's get on, and maybe because my son was there and I look over and he like looks completely bored. I'm like, okay, we need to get some action so my son is having fun. I mean, at the end, he's like, "That was the greatest movie ever," and Jack is so cool, and I love the screen slaver. I'm like, okay, got it. All right. I like when it comes
Yeah.
like there's not a whole lot that I can nitpick at. I feel like it was, like you said, it was definitely worth the wait. Um, I mean, it wasn't groundbreaking, but it still kind of um, it had that same feel of this is a family movie, and this family just happens to have superpowers and want to fight crime, and they're trying to find how to live a normal life, but also get that freedom to do what they're born to do, more or less. Um, so I can't think of anything I didn't really like that much at all. I think if I had to choose something, I saw the villainess reveal um, probably about 30 minutes before
Mm-hmm.
they really uh, gave it to us, which is like there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but sometimes in those movies I want to be like, whoa, what? I did not see that coming. And this one was very much like, okay, it's the brother or the sister. Felt that super early on, and then it's like, okay, it's definitely the sister. So sorry, spoilers for those who haven't seen it. We should have probably upfront spoilers. Sorry, my wife Amy is
Oh,
listening to this in the room, and
yeah.
spoilers.
Oops.
It's fine. We're past
Um,
that.
boy, too late. We talked about a raccoon and trash, trash pandas and deviousness. Hate's a really strong word. I totally agree. You touched exactly on. I knew who the screenslaver was right off the bat. Like it was very planted. Like I had hoped I was wrong, but I wasn't. So yay for me, I guess. And what else didn't I like? Some of the spaces where it dragged it, especially when we were having like moments that were touching and heartwarming. They just felt like they were written a little heavy-handed, but they carried a good message, and so it seems like they kind of lost some of the traction, and then they found it again, especially in the writing. And the writers
Yeah.
did a really great job. I mean, the only other thing I really had a problem with was what happened to the Underminer,
Right. Yeah. I was
because
thinking
we
that at the
left
end.
him.
Yeah. So that's the one thing. Maybe that'll be part three. They're going after him. Um, Luke Bill uh, said that he called it when she walked into the room for the first time because she wasn't in the trailer at all. It's like, oh well, this is a main character that we didn't get in the trailer, so probably the bad guy.
Exact.
Um, and yeah, I feel like there's something off with her there, but it's still like for sure clicked probably about 30 minutes before she strapped Elastigirl to the chair and pulled a Fantastic Four on her. The Doctor Doom.
Exact.
Yeah. Um,
No, yeah,
sorry, go for it.
huh. Oh no, I was gonna say, I've always appreciated, and this goes a little back to in comparison, like the original compared to this, but I always appreciated that this is as close to Disney could get to the first family without buying them outright. Um, well, Pixar anyway. It was a great nod, and considering that they took the Underminer, which Fantastic Four's first villain was the Mole, that they did that. It made it really easy for me as a comic book fan to come into this and be excited to look for the other heroes that were based off people. And I think this kind of, not my favorite scene, but kind of like some Easter eggs, which I found really funny. Um, spoilers, 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 spoilers. When we get to the big signing on the boat, like we're getting towards our final fight, and all the delegates are standing around, and they have heroes from each of their countries,
Yeah.
and there's a version of the Union Jack of, and I said Captain Cold, but it's not it. It was Captain Canuck. And then there's one from India, and I recognize all these people in their versions, and it got me really excited because it was so nice to see that um, the animators took the time to show appreciation for other superheroes too,
Mhm.
and um, it wasn't just our team. Or what was it, the Screecher? Is
Yeah.
that the guy that was the owl?
Yeah.
I can't remember. And he was supposed to be, I almost called him, yeah, Night Owl from Watchmen,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, I kind of had that, definitely had that look. Um, so something I didn't put this on our little outline, but something that I probably should have was that I appreciate that does what comic books do, where they present a fun story, something that we can enjoy and love just on the surface, but um, there's something like there's that other layer that this one it's not very like very buried where they're basically advocating for equal rights for a certain group of people, and comic books have always commentated on what's going on in society, and we've definitely come a long way since like X-Men came around and kind of started uncovering the stuff in comic books, but it's still something that we struggle with as a country and around the world, as very evident through the stuff that we see on social media and in the news and that kind of stuff. Like we can put ourselves in a bubble and say, no, we're fine. We ended slavery over 100 years ago. We got equal rights for everybody. But on paper, maybe that's true. But in reality, it doesn't always pan out that way. And I think this is just a nice reminder in a fun packaging that there's still some work to be done. And it kind of challenges us, I feel like, to be more aware of it, not necessarily um, shove it down people's throats because that's not at all what this movie did, but just be aware that that's something that we need to take a look at, and if we can have a positive impact on it, do that. So overall, like the movie was great. I thought it was just everything that I wanted it to be. It had the action, the laughs, the feels. I don't often tear up in movies, but I got a couple times where I got a little teary in this one. So, uh, any last thoughts on it?
Yeah, I really liked it. There were so many moments that were uh, beautifully as a parent that I recognized, and I know the struggle with. There were so many quips and asides, and there's not as many one-liners because for the majority of it, Jack steals the show.
True.
And then being able to get Frozone, Samuel L. Jackson, some more speaking space and to give him more presence was really great to see. So I really appreciated that. And then the it was good. It got me in the feels, but not so much that I was leaving the theater and feeling like there was something to be missed or that I was going to break down and cry. It was a good ride. And if we're giving it capes,
Yeah,
because I'm stingy about my movies, I'm gonna give it like if yeah, I'd give it. Do you know what? I'm gonna give it a B plus. I'm gonna give it an 8.8 out of 10 capes. But as Edna Mode says, we're not supposed to have capes.
that's
You
yeah,
know this. No
that's
capes.
that's why I threw this in because we're the Capeless Crusaders, so we used our capes for ranking systems instead. Hey Drew, welcome to the cast. Ruru
Hi,
asked
Drew.
if there'll be be a Kingdom Hearts 3 world for the Incredibles. Um, I don't see why not. That'd be great. I feel like I haven't played the first two, but it looks really awesome, so I feel like that'd be a good addition.
Yes, I totally agree. Did we talk about the short? Wait, you
Oh,
need to cape this, and then we need to talk about the short.
yeah. So you gave it a 8.8. I would give it a 9 probably. Um, so pretty close to what you gave it. Um, and yeah, that the short film at the beginning, um, man, that was
A roller coaster.
yes. I I didn't know what was going on at first, and I was like, well, this is kind of cute and fun, and they're telling a fun story. And then um, once they like show that there's
Shock.
a real son in here that this little dumpling has been kind of taking the place of, um, I was like, oh man, this is right in the heart. And I was like, okay, after this, I'm done right now. I'm done. Let's go home. And my son just like, Daddy, when's the movie gonna start? I'm like, no, I'm ready to go right now.
Oh, yeah. It was weird, but if you weren't a parent and you came into that system, and watching Bao, spoilers, 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 spoilers. The dumpling being the son, and her journey as a mother, nurturing and fixing. Every time he got squished, she had to put more more meat in his head so that he would grow and he would get formed together, and that it was watching a life and was watching his life, and that the moment, that pinnacle moment when he's rolling out and she decides to eat him, the bow, not the real son.
Right.
We need to establish that she doesn't eat her real son. She eats the bow, but that moment, you understand, especially as a mom, you understand that she said hurtful things, that she pushed him out, that she did all these things. She destroyed essentially her relationship with her son, and so in having him represented as a bow and consuming him, it's all the things that she was greedy and selfish and did all these things and essentially got rid of him from her life. And so it was sweet for shorts. It definitely, somebody I was talking to felt that the animation was stylized almost clay-esque to
Yeah.
like Coraline, like not full stop animation, but like the texturing,
Hmm.
which I could agree to at some point. Um, but now I can't look at dumplings ever the same. And I had Bao 2 days ago. I'm not gonna lie, and I will post a picture of it. It looks hilarious. But the bow had like little black sesame seeds and a little open mouth, and it looked like the bow.
Oh, no.
So
Was that
it
the way it
was
was served
bad,
to
but it
you, or
was
did you
so
do that?
good. After probably
Uh-oh. Amy, you still there?
the soup, so a little hole this just happened to be in the right place. Oh, yeah. Oh no! You can hear me.
Yeah, you're back. You cut out for like a second.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I didn't. I had to pop a hole in the bow because it was a soup bow, and then the sesame seeds happened to be in the right place. So that's not my fault, ever, ever.
All
Wow.
right.
I really need to make sure. Yeah, this is bad. We should wrap this up.
Yeah, I think we're good. So if you guys haven't seen Incredibles 2, it's worth seeing. Go see it. We loved it. I did find out today that there is like a preview comic out there. I think it's by Boom Studios. I haven't read it yet, like a one shot or whatever. Um, so I'll probably read that now. But we're gonna wrap it up. Again, my name is Manderson at Son of Mander on Twitter and Instagram. With me is
Amy, you can find me at IJU Robot on all that stuff. I be Tom on everything, on everything, on everything, but I'm not tall, dark, not ugly on everything, on everything, on everything. Or DR Barry on the varying social media. Or if we're going to throw it one more time, the Azorian one, Anthony is Steve's. We are none of those people, but
no,
we like them
but yeah,
on
they're an
occasion.
important part of the team. If you want to check out all the things Crusaders, you can go to our website, thecapelesscrusaders.com. Everything is there. All of our previous streams, links to our podcast, YouTube, blogs, news, that kind of stuff. Once again, thanks and a shout out to Computer Booter, Empire's Comics, and the Beard Balm Brush crew for being our sponsors. Thank you guys for joining us and participating in chat. For the Capeless Crusaders, this is Amy and Manderson signing off. Have a good night, guys.